Welcome to another episode of the CEO Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Awad, with my co-host,
Yusuf Krama.
where law, life, and business meets. Today, we got an awesome topic for you. Yusuf, what are we going to talk about today?
So we're talking about today why marketing is an obligation. And I have a quote here from you, Ali, where you said, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Marketing is the powerhouse of life. So let's talk about that.
Ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah,
That's heavy. You have to market yourself everywhere you go. The way you present yourself when you walk into a car dealership, they're going to judge you the moment they look at you, the moment you walk in. The way you negotiate with a real estate agent when you're trying to buy that house or get that new apartment. The way you have to talk to an interviewer when you're trying to find a job. Or as an interviewee, you're interviewing someone else. You're always marketing yourself, whether you're trying to get that job or trying to offer the job. And I think people underestimate the importance of marketing yourself. It's the image that you portray. From a life perspective, you're always going to be marketing yourself. You're marketing yourself to your kids. When they see you on your phone 24/7, you get addicted to TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff. You get addicted to watching these TV shows till 11, 12 o'clock at night, and your kids just get used to it. You get addicted to sleeping in late or always buying food from outside, right? Like this, you're actually marketing yourself to your kids. You might be doing it unintentionally, but it's still marketing. The way you present yourself and carry yourself, the way that you dress, all of this is marketing. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, well, you know, it's kind of a stretch here, right? But the truth is, it's so important in your life, just like it is important in your business. With business, I think marketing is an obligation. Like if you're really, really good at what you do, if you're the absolute best at what you do, then you have an obligation to market yourself. If you have an incredible product, you have just an amazing service, you have customer service that no one can come close to, it's your obligation to let everyone know how great you are. Because if you really believe in your product or service, then it would be a shame that other people don't hire you. That's why marketing is an obligation. But if your product sucks, if your service sucks, if your business is just really subpar at best, then yeah, don't market yourself. You're not doing anyone any favors. You're just selling something that you don't believe in. You're a snake oil salesman. But if you're really, really good at what you do, then marketing becomes your obligation. And that's what you have to overcome when you're trying to decide whether you want to be a marketer and promote your product. You have to get to the point where your confidence level is so high in your product, in your service, in your business, that you would feel bad to not market yourself. And once you get there, marketing becomes easy.
So many people, if you're a good enough marketer, you can sell anything. Talk about selling water to a well, right? So many people have products that are deficient products, but they still sell the products anyway because their marketing skills are just that good.
Yeah.
So can we talk about like the morals in marketing? It is an obligation if you know your service is good, but if you know you have a shit service and your marketing skills are good and your salesmanship is good and you're still selling it, how do you implement a moral system where you can know that you're selling a good product and not just because you're a good salesman?
Your question is, how do you put a system in place to make sure that you're selling a good product?
Sure, yeah.
Would you give that product or service to your own mother? Would you hire yourself for the most important person in your life? Your spouse, your kid, your parents? If the answer to that question is yes, and it's undoubtedly yes, then you have a good product. But if you're like, man, I don't know if I'd want my parents to go through this or my kid to go through this, then you have to fix that system. Because I don't know of any truly remarkably successful people or companies that had an inferior product. I think sometimes the way that you market it could be that, hey, this is a cheap product. Like this is just gonna get you from point A to point B. You're gonna be able to use this cup for 6 uses and that's it. It's a $2.50 cup. It's not the same as those Yeti cups. It's $50, but it's gonna get the job done. Now, it might be an inferior product to that Boss cup or to a Yeti cup, but it gets the job done for what people actually need it for. There's a difference between having a cheap product or a cheaper alternative and an inferior product. Like if you have a bad, just a shitty product that you're selling to people, I don't know how you could ever grow that business because your heart is never going to be in it, you know? I think Steve Jobs once said, if you really want to be successful and you want to go far in business, you have to love what you do. You have to be so passionate about what you do because it's too hard to keep going. you could probably make your first couple $100,000, maybe even become a millionaire with selling bullshit to people. But eventually that's a stain on your legacy and a stain on society from what you did. You might as well put that same effort towards something good. It's like when we were talking about drug dealers earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like drug dealers are like the best type of entrepreneurs because of the amount of effort you have to put in. It's like buying off police officers, getting a good source for your product, making sure the logistics are all in place. Like, these people are dealing with supply chain issues. They're dealing with hiring. They're dealing with independent contractors. They got payroll. They got obligations, and they're marketing themselves because, like, I got the best product. That's how I market myself. Might give it to someone to try it out for a little free. Hey, take this little piece, try it out. Let me know what you think. I don't know how the whole process works. I'm just saying.
A bit experienced. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if drug dealers put that same amount of effort into a legal product or service, they would be unstoppable. But sometimes because you grow up in a society, you grow up in a system that tells you that this is okay. It's okay to sell something that's bad and harmful to other people, or that's just an inferior product or service that shouldn't be sold to other people. You think that it's okay. You say, you know what, I just got to finesse my way out of it. I just got to do my thing. And the truth is, always looking behind your back, always getting worried when you hear those sirens, always getting paranoid when you see those blue lights, that's just not a way to live. So if you got to finesse for a little bit, make sure that you have an exit strategy. Make sure you have a way out, because there's one common theme about all of those drug dealers, all those dope boys, all those people that try to be hustlers and gangsters, they all get caught. So if you have to finesse now and you're in a position where you're not proud of what you do, get to a point where you're proud. Get to a point where your mom would appreciate the product or service that you do. Get to a point where you would hire yourself if you needed that product or service. And once you get there, marketing and business becomes natural.
I like to live my life according to this belief that I'm somebody's ancestor. Like the things I do today are going to affect generations to come. Just like we talk about in business residual income, I think about residual barakah or residual blessings. Like if I do good, if I put good into society, my future generations are going to benefit from the things I do and say. And I remember we were on a conference call one time and somebody asked you, would it be advisable to market their services on porn websites? And he was like, no, this is not my brand, But they were serious about doing it. I thought that was hilarious. But why did you decide that wouldn't be advisable? I mean, it's obvious, but.
No, he asked whether they should do it because they can get so much engagement.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Right, but I just told him that's not my brand, so I would never do it because I'm not looking for the almighty dollar. Yeah. I have a much higher purpose. So I know that I leave potentially a lot of money on the table by making conscious decisions of morality, but not all money is good money. You don't need that dollar if it comes from a bad place. It's just like hiring a bad client or getting stuck with a bad customer. Dude, those people take up the majority of your time. They're a life suck, and it's not a pleasant experience. It's the same way with marketing and where you spend your ad dollars. Put it in a place where you genuinely believe it's going to give people a good ROI and give yourself a good ROI that you're happy with. The litmus test for almost any one of these business-related questions when it comes to morality is, would your mom be proud of you for doing this? I think most people's moms want them to do something good, something noble, something admirable. They're not going to say, go on and be the best dope boy you possibly can, son.
Yeah,
They're not going to say that, They want you to be safe and protected. And so that's my litmus test. It's the easiest way to know if I'm on the right track. And if I feel like, man, I would be ashamed if my mom or my wife or my kid knew about this, then just don't do it. Trust me, there's plenty of money out there. You don't have to chase the bad dollars.
Yeah. I think a lot of times in business, when things start to go bad, the first department that they cut is the marketing department because it's like the least appreciated, least valued department. And I read a quote that said, like, cutting off marketing to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. So why is it important and why is it an obligation for that matter to, implement marketing strategies within your business and company?
So there's only one time when you should slow down on marketing or stop spending money on marketing. It's when you're bringing in so much business and so many cases, so many clients, so many customers that it's adversely affecting all of your existing clients. It's negatively affecting your employees. You're not able to keep up and you're literally wasting money. So the more that you spend, you bring in more customers, yes, but you're actually making less money. That's when you should slow down, Focus on rebuilding your infrastructure, your business, your systems, your operations, your people, train them properly, and then scale up. It's not a good idea to keep burning money by throwing it away through marketing dollars. That's the only time that you should slow down on marketing. Now, people that say they're spending too much money on their business and they decide that, okay, I want to make more money by spending less on marketing, that's not really a good strategy. Because if you're spending less money on marketing and that's how you decide to save money, well, your marketing wasn't even working really in the first place. Your marketing should be the lifeblood of growing your organization and continuing to attract new talent. And so the people that want to save money, you should be looking at cutting costs from your own personal life first. Like, do I really need that extra subscription? Do I really need that extra suit? Am I actually putting in the time, my work, those 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week? Most of the time when you have bad habits in your business is because they start in your personal life. And if you're not checking in with your team at 7:30, 8 a.m. every single day and you expect them to do it and you're not doing it, you're not holding yourself accountable. So if you're trying to figure out a place to cut costs, there's definitely ways to trim the fat in an organization, but marketing should not be the primary focus of where you should save your money. I would say if you had to get rid of one aspect of your business to save some money, it would be all the perks, you know? Are we giving, free food to people every single Friday? Are we adding these additional snacks? Are we adding, all these additional perks for working here, like drive time, like, Hawks, NBA tickets and travel and things like that? I would cut off the perks first, but that's always a short-term solution. People are not going to be happy when you do that. If you really have to cut business and cut costs, you should cut your salary first. That's what the business owner does. You take all the risks and you take all the rewards. You can't just take all the rewards and say, all right, well, we got to cut costs. Time to cut everyone's payroll, but I'm going to keep my lifestyle the same. Look at yourself first. And before you even get to that point, you should have enough finances and credit in place so that you protect yourself and your organization. And I'll tell you, there's so many ways to build up your credit by making sure you have like credit cards with balance transfers available so you can get that cash right away, by getting a line of credit with the bank, by making sure that you have cash assets and cash reserves in the case of emergencies. There's so many ways to keep yourselves from having to not spend money in your business or not take away parts of your business that are already making money. So strategically, if you're trying to save money, usually there's something wrong with you, not the business. That's what I think.
Okay, so it said that marketing can take a day to learn, but a lifetime to master. If you look on social media, now everybody is selling marketing services, everybody's an expert marketer, but how do you quantify good marketing? How do you know this is actually a marketing that's worth investing in, that's actually effective and is working for my business, as opposed to somebody just selling you this arbitrary concept of marketing and making money off of you? I think many people are burnt out, are tired of being cheated by marketing companies.
I think that good marketing should be different from other people. Like, your cookie needs to be different from everyone else's cookie. And some people use Instagram, some people use Google ads, some people are great at YouTube, some people are just old school billboard radio, some people just like networking within their own community, some people just work on referrals between other people. All of this is marketing. You shouldn't look at what someone else is doing effectively and think, I need to copy that and that's what's going to work. Good marketing starts with you. What do I feel most comfortable and confident doing, and how can I maximize that? So let's take an example. Let's say you are a dentist, okay, and you're looking to get some new patients. Now, you can sign up with a health insurance network, and they send people with dental health insurance. They put you on their website, and you decide, okay, well, in order to be part of that program, I have to accept taking clients that are worth less money. Like, when I would normally charge $200 for a patient visit, now I have to do it for $67 because that's what health insurance pays. Okay, well, the difference there is that you're taking $133 less per patient. That means your cost of potential client acquisition can be up to $133. So as long as you spend less than that to acquire a cash patient, then it's actually better for you than going through the health insurance route. But what if you decided instead to network with like oral facial surgeons? What if you decided to network with plastic surgeons or other types of medical professionals that don't necessarily do dental work, orthodontists, things like that? and you say, hey, I want to be able to send you my referrals and exclusively you send me your patients and clients back. Well, that's a way to market yourself to other professionals without having to put a video up on Instagram and Facebook, without having to be all over LinkedIn, without having to spend so much money on PPC, pay-per-click, your website, your SEO, all that stuff. There's different ways to market. So I really think that to be a good marketer and to find the right agency to help you with your marketing, you should first figure out what type of marketing you want to do and why you think you'll be successful at it. If you see everyone else doing something and you're like, oh, well, all that works, I want to be able to do that, that's not the right strategy. You should look for what you think works best for you. I like networking with other people. Okay, so instead of hiring an agency and paying them $5, $10K a month, I should hire a marketing assistant. And all she does is just go in, or he, calls all the doctors, all the professionals, all these communities around me, and they set up appointments so that I can go meet them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Or I go and speak at these local events. I do these charities. There's people that make a killing just doing that. All of that is marketing. You don't have to look at an agency to get your foot through the door and start bringing in clients, bringing in customers online. There's just a lot of ways to skin that cat. I happen to find mine through social media, but if you notice, I don't do any billboard ads. I don't do any old school TV ads. I rarely do like community events and charity events and things like that, because all of that, as much as it might seem like, oh, I'm doing this for the community, it's marketing. And I don't feel good about doing that type of marketing. I like marketing that I can control. Earlier this week, we realized 2 people quit. We have 5 more people coming in. We signed up way more cases than we were expecting, and things are starting to slip through the cracks. So I decided, hey, cut our marketing budget in half. We're spending $300,000 a month, cut it to $150,000. I want to do that for the next 4 to 6 weeks so we can catch up on all of our cases. We have enough time to hire more people, train more people. I don't want things slipping through the cracks. That's my reputation, you know? So that's partly why I like digital ads, because I can control them at any given time. Whereas if you're doing old school ads, you can't control that influx of calls. Sure. So that's how I built my business. Like, it's a digital business. That's why it works well for me. But just because it works well for me doesn't mean it's going to work well for you. Not everyone is set up to do content. Not everyone is excited about getting on video and going on TikTok and catching up with trends and meeting with other digital marketers and going to these conferences. I like that stuff. That's why it works for me. So do what works for you. I know this lawyer. I know this lawyer that makes about $60, $70 million a year. Okay? He does not have an Instagram page, does not have a TikTok page, does not have a Facebook page. He'll post some stuff on LinkedIn from time to time, but you know what he does do? He goes to every single conference and educates people about tractor-trailer law. He basically created this niche and says, you know what, this is my niche, this is what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I know how to do car accidents. Yeah, I know how to do products liability, airbag defect manufacturing, all that. I know how to do all that stuff, but I'm going to focus on one thing and teach everyone in the country about this. And he networked himself after 600 different conferences. Everyone in the country knows him for this. But on TikTok, no one knows this guy. On Instagram, no one knows this guy. On Facebook, no one knows this guy. I'm the opposite. People know me on Instagram and Facebook, but I go to these like networking events with older school lawyers. They're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So pick what you're good at and then just go all in. And once you get to a point where you've reached a point of diminishing returns, where, okay, doing more of this doesn't necessarily add more benefit, then you can start looking for another marketing channel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, it does.
Yeah.
And you know, marketing used to be about creating this myth and telling it, creating this story around your brand or your business and getting people to buy into it. But now what I hear you saying is that creating a truth, letting it be a reality. And I think that the best marketing is word of mouth, it's human interactions. You know, just doing a Google reviews for the business, I read a story from a customer who talked about being in a car accident and being so destitute and so out of it that he didn't even have clothes to wear to leave. And somebody from the intake team actually went and brought him a change of clothes. He said, this is something I will never, ever forget. That's marketing you can't pay for. That's real human interaction.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this firm. Like, you know, and I think that's the best sort of marketing, but that's something you can't pay for. You can't quantify. But, you know, I think that that's the sort of thing we're talking about.
Well, word of mouth is the best marketing, because if someone says, hey, I recommend this person, I'm going to refer him to you, he's the absolute best at what he does, that trust is already built. The reason word of mouth marketing is the most effective is because the rapport has already been established. They already trust you for that specific product or service that they're looking for. Now, social media is just word of mouth on steroids. So if I put out a video and someone tags me in the comments and says, hey, this is the person that you need to hire, boom, that's word of mouth done digitally. They call your office. They already love you and respect you and want to hire you because that rapport has already been established vis-a-vis that social media connection. So word of mouth is the most effective form of marketing, but social media is word of mouth on steroids. That's why you have to make sure that you're talking to people, you're communicating, you're networking. But if you have the ability to amplify it and just pour a little bit of gasoline over that fire through a little bit of ad dollars, a little bit of digital, you should definitely do it. It's like, if it's there, take advantage of it. But you're absolutely right. Like, speak your truth. Be who you want to be, because you're not going to last if you have to fake it, So I realized early on, like when I was doing content with, grabbing money from the bank and be like, "Ooh, I'm Ali Awad, and I'll get you a wad of money." I just felt weird by doing that stuff, And I know I got a lot of hate, and there was a lot of noise on, the content and how I was building my brand. But honestly, dude, people never remember why someone got famous. They just remember that they are famous. And that was my mentality. Like, I don't care how I get known, I'm just going to do whatever it takes. But I'm not going to do it at the expense of my own morality and my own brand that I want to establish. You get to create whatever brand you want. And that's what's so beautiful about marketing. You can market yourself however you want. You can wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to be the lawyer for lawyers. And that's going to be my brand. I'm going to be the person that educates other lawyers how to do social media, how to create content, how to build their businesses. I love my personal injury business, but my real passion comes from teaching other lawyers how to do this. And boom, that's my new brand. That's my CEO lawyer. And sometimes that brand evolves on its own through your marketing, If you're a great networker, you're a great communicator, and you realize, like, dude, I'm really, really good at networking and talking to people. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do a course to teach other people how to network and market. That's not necessarily the business that I started in, but it's the business that I feel more confident in, right? And we could talk about how the practitioner rarely makes more money than the actual business person. Because, like, you can be in the practice of medicine, but the person that owns the medical clinic is usually making more. You know what I mean? You could be the best painter in the world, but the person that owns the contracting business or the construction business, that's the person that's usually doing it. But one person takes more risk, one person doesn't. It's like, it really does all tie back into marketing, man. However you want to market yourself is how the world is going to perceive you.
Sure. So what I hear you saying is that marketing is an obligation for everyone, no matter whether you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, a janitor, a plumber. Marketing is a part of life. And to do market well, to be unique, to be honest, to be sincere, to have a good product that people will look back on and say, I am proud, I am happy that I made this investment, I'm happy that I took the service on, something that's everlasting as opposed to something that's temporary, that you can make a quick buck off, but in the end, you're going to leave sour reviews and, anger people behind.
Yeah, exactly.
So the question is, if you want to get started on marketing, you realize that marketing is important, it has a great significance, but you just don't know where to start from, what's the first step that a person should take, second step, third step to begin their journey on marketing?
So I love it when people say, I have to market myself more, I have to do this more, I have to understand that you're already marketing. Okay, you were already marketing when you crossed that stage at the graduation. You were already marketing when you did your interview and got that job. You were already marketing when you decided to set up your LLC and let the Secretary of State know that this is going to be my business and I set up my shingle right here. You're already marketing. You just have to decide what you want to do more of. You're already doing it. You just have to decide what you want to do more of. And the reason most people fail at marketing is because they try to do something that is not their truth. They try to create social media content when they have a face for radio. They try to compete in the radio and billboard space when they know nothing about buying media. They try to become the guru entrepreneur, the speaker that goes all over the world and talks to people, but they have stage fright. So you have to be truthful in your marketing, and that's the only way that it's going to work. If you like being on TV, you like being on radio, you like being on podcast shows, whatever, you have to like it before you can scale it. You have to invest in what you want to do first, make sure that you actually love it, and that's what's going to keep you playing that game forever. Because in this game, in entrepreneurship, It's just about how long you can last. As long as you wake up the next day and you're still fighting, you're still playing, you're winning. The moment you quit, the moment you stop, you've lost. That's what entrepreneurship is. So if you want to start and you want an easy way to say, all right, here's what can I do to just start marketing myself? Start with your local friends and family. Okay? Make sure everyone knows what you do. And not in a cold DM everyone like, hey man, I want to show you my MDM, like my, not MDM, but like my MLM, right? The multi-level marketing. Everyone hates those messages when someone DMs you from high school, like, dude, I haven't talked to you in 15 years. Why are you trying to sell me on this new multi-level marketing? Don't do it that way. Do it by sharing stories first. Understand that the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. So when you're sharing your stories online, hey, here's how I helped this new customer. Here's what I got to do today. Oh, here's a crazy story that I want to share with you guys. That is the best way to market yourself because people are attracted to you without feeling like you're selling them. So share your story, talk to as many people, shake as many hands, kiss as many babies as you want, and find what you like best. And once you find that niche, once you find that lane, go all the way deep because the deeper you go, the less people you're going to find.
Wow, I just thought about this story of it happened to me years ago. I know how you talk about nobody ever remembers how you got famous, they just know that you are. So years ago, I met Farnsworth Bentley, who was sitting with him talking, and I asked him, how did you become famous? And he said, the true story is, I used to show up to work every day dressed for success, like suit and tie, nice shoes, every single day. I was known in the office for being well-dressed. Yeah. Well, the MTV Awards came through, and everybody in the office told him, you should just go to the awards. He's like, nobody knows me. I'm not anybody. Why would I go? They're like, just go. So he walks up to the MTV Awards, and he's so dressed on a regular day that they put him right through. They don't ask him any questions, and they sit him right next to P. Diddy.
No way.
And Diddy's like, who dressed you? He's like, I dressed myself, and he got a styling job.
No way. Bro, and that's literally how it works. That was his story.
That's his story.
Dude, man. Like, isn't that so crazy? Like, he was just doing something that he actually liked, and it ended up being the best opportunity ever. And so, yeah, man, I love that story. It's like, do what you love doing, and then don't be scared to be who you are. You know? That's crazy, man. And yeah, like, basically, if you don't have a seat at the table, just make your own table. That's it, yeah. You know what I mean?
So I'll try it and let you know how it works.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Just show up to MTV Awards or whatever. Hey, yeah, I'm Yusuf Krum. What's up? You know what I mean? Let me in. But dude, awesome show. We got another crazy topic for tomorrow, for next time. Guys, that's the show. Ali Awad, the CEO lawyer, and Yusuf Krum, my co-host. This is the CEO Lawyer Podcast where law, life, and business meet. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.